Hello everybody, my name is the Yellow Ojama and I'm back again with another video. First off, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody, as this is being recorded on January 1st of 2021. We are finally done with that awful year 2020, and here's to hoping that 2021 is a better one. I first want to start, and second of all, I want to say thank you all for the support on the first video. It did much better than I thought it would. I know it didn't really do like insane, but it still did way better than I thought it would to start off for first video, just being a random Fluffle deck profile. Especially considering Fluffles aren't even like a top deck or anything. It really surprised me, and I just want to say thank you. So today I want to do another deck profile. And starting off 2021 with another one of my favorite decks. Today's deck profile is going to be on Cubix. I do want to say not every video I do is going to be on deck profiles. I will do deck profiles, sometimes some pack openings when I get them. I have a pack opening coming up soon, actually, of the 2020 Mega Tin. I'll actually have two of those. Hopefully soon. They should be arriving soon. And then probably sometimes just some duels with some of my friends, or just random online duels I had on like Dueling Book and stuff. But anyways, I hope you guys will really enjoy these videos and continue to show the support that you've shown so thus far. It really means a lot to me. So without further ado, let's get on to the Cubic deck profile. Quick thing about Cubix. Not everybody knows this. I think a large majority of people do. Cubics were only first time used and only used in the Yu-Gi-Oh movie Dark Side Dimensions, which I believe came out in 2018. I was fortunate enough to see this movie on YouTube like right before it got taken down, because it was very, very shortly after it was released, because I wasn't able to view it on any of the platforms that it was on at the time. So I was able to see it, and Cubix very quickly became one of my other favorite decks. I would say this and Fluffles are probably my two favorite decks of all time. Because I really love the playstyle of just hit hard, hit fast, and just kill your opponent in one turn. And I just really, really love that. And that's what this deck is tailored towards doing, is turboing out your boss monster, Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord, as fast as possible, and then just killing with him. Because Crimson Nova is actually a very powerful monster. The biggest problem I would say the deck has is bricking. That's why I try to play a couple of cards for draw power. I don't play anything like Desires or Extravagance. I might play Extravagance soon. I still have to mess around with it more. But I don't really like Desires that much in the deck. I've tried it and it just never worked out for me. That could just be anecdotal evidence. And I just have poor luck with it. But it's never really worked out for me in this deck, so I don't play it. But anyways, Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord, is a level 10 Dark Fiend with 3,000 attack and 0 defense. So he works kind of like Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. You basically put him to defense. That's the easiest way to kill it. Or you just simply bounce it with non-targeting. Anyways, Crimson Nova is a monster that can only be special summoned if you reveal 3 Cubic cards with different names in your hand, and then you special summon them. It is an inherent summon. It's not an effect to summon, which is very, very important, because then your opponent can't use stuff like Boral Savage or Appaloosa to negate it. Crimson Nova is unaffected by monsters whose original attack is 3,000 or less. So basically, if you try to activate any of his effects, your opponent can't negate it with like a Boral Savage, because even though it may be boosted over 3,000, its original is 3,000. So Nova's unaffected and it can't be negated. Nova also has the effects of when it attacks and destroys a monster by battle, it can activate an effect to attack again. And then once per turn, that's not once per turn. The 2 attacking once per turn. So if you got 2 of them, they can each attack twice. They just have to kill a monster. If it's in a row, I'm not sure. Okay, it doesn't even have to be in a row, which is really good. Because people don't know, if you have a monster that attacks, activate effect to attack again in a row, it has to attack again immediately. Crimson Nova, it can attack, kill something. You can attack with like Duza, kill something, and then Nova can attack directly, which is really, really nice. And it is a hard once per turn effect of during the end phase, you can inflict 3,000 burn damage to the opponent. The only annoyance I have with that effect, or it does damage to both players. The only problem I have with that effect is that it makes a lot of people say that Cubics are a burn deck when they are not. The monsters of Gale Gaia, Volcanic, whatever the volcanic one is, and Indoria, they're the only ones that burn besides Crimson Nova. Nothing else in the deck burns, and you have to play Crimson Nova because it is your boss monster. It is your win condition, especially paired with some of the spells in the deck. And other than that, I only play the Gala because excuse me, I prefer it to Dark Garnix, just because I think Garnix is really bad. Next up is 3 Duza, the Meteor Cubic Vessel. This was a really, really important card to come out for the deck. Until this came out, the deck really just could not function well, because then the only normal summon you had for your cubic monsters was Vijam, the Seed. But you couldn't really get any plays going with that because you couldn't dump anything. You just had to open like a god hand to do it. With this, you can open a mediocre hand and still easily pull off an OTK. But Duza has the effect of when it's normal or special summoned, it is a soft one. It's not even once per turn, actually. When the card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 cubic card, I believe it is, yes, 1 cubic card from your deck to the graveyard. That can be any of the spells, the traps, or the monsters. And then that's the main effect you care about. But the other effect he has is once per turn during either player's turn, if a monster is sent to the graveyard this turn while this card is on the field, you can activate the effect to make it gain 200 attack for each monster in your graveyard with a different name until the end of the turn. You don't really care about that. The second effect, the main thing you use is for dumping that, is for using that Foolish Bearer of Goods effect, which is just really, really useful. Next up, we have 3 Vijam, the Cubic Seeds. Vijam is just, you play it for the fact of a cubic name, and you play it to dump off of stuff like Cubic Karma to boost your cubic monster attack. There's not really much to say about it. You also use it with one of the traps that I play, just in case my opponent makes me go first. Because whenever my opponent makes me go first, I seem to have a lot of luck with drawing that trap, and it just really helps buy me time and can also really help me swarm the field quickly. Because a lot of times I'll just like summon Duza, dump something. I'll dump like Unification, set a card or 2, pass turn, my opponent kills Duza. I'll let them hit me for some damage, and then I'll flip up the trap and go off with my play, which I will explain what the trap is later on. It is actually the final card in this deck profile for the main deck. But Vijam, it cannot be destroyed by battle. At the end of the damage step, after it is battled, you can activate its effect to place it in the spell and trap zone and place a cubic counter on your opponent's monster. And monsters with a cubic counter, they cannot attack or activate their effects. And then once per turn, you can special summon it to the field from your spell and trap zone. For the one of cubic monsters, I play 1 Buster Gundeel. I just like Buster Gundeel over Endoria. As I look at it, why play Endoria that's only 2400, 1 attack, and it burns for 800? When you can play something like Buster Gundeel that has the same summoning cost of tributing 3 cubic monsters for the special summon of it, and it becomes 3000 attack, and it can attack 3 times, including directly. So all 3 attacks can be directly, which I think is just a lot better. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, you can... I do play Endoria. I do not play Endoria. I'm thinking of my Duel Links deck. But you can, when it is sent from the field to graveyard by an opponent's card effect, or by being destroyed by battle, you can special summon 3 cubic monsters from the graveyard, and then add any cubic card from your grave or deck to hand. Next is Blade Garuna, my bad, which is special summoned by tributing 2 cubic monsters, and its attack will become 2000, and it gets 2 attacks. And when it destroys a monster of battle, you can tribute it, summon 3 seeds from the grave, and then add a Buster Gundeel to hand. I just prefer it over Vulcan because, again, 2000 attack twice. I would prefer that over 800 burn and a 1600 monster. And then to finish it off is Gale Gaia. Yeah, I didn't see the name there. Tribute 1 cubic monster, special summon it, burn the opponent for 800 damage. It's something of if you end up going into time because your opponent goes off a lot of combos, because typically your turn's not going to take very long with this deck. But it's just something of just in case you need for time. It's also there. It's also there for cubic names. That's the main reason why you play these. For the names for Crimson Nova. Next up is a little tech I like. You can play, I think it's called Jester's Fiend. It's a level 1 monster that you can just special summon it from your hand. But I play 3 Time Maiden. The reason why I would say playing Jester over this, but I prefer this for things with the side deck, because I do side in some Time Lords. But the Jester, you can just special summon it whenever. Thing is, with Time Maiden, you have to control no monsters in order to special summon it. But if you control the monsters, you special summon it, and then you can link it off into Link Rebo, or it just lets you get into a Link 2 easier. Like you can special this, normal Duza, dump a Unification Cubic Lords, link into a Link 2 that you have, and then banish Unification, summon another Duza, and you can just go off. Or you can just make a Link Rebo with this, or whatever. But you can special summon it, and it can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a Time Lord monster. You can banish a card from your graveyard, special summon a Time Lord with 0 attack from your deck, ignoring summon conditions, but you can't special summon other monsters turn you activate this effect, which is fine, because in the main deck, in game 1, you just care about having it for that special summon. Next up is 2 Summoner Monk. You could definitely play this at 3. I'm considering bumping it back up to 3, just because I'm really not seeing it enough, but 2 does still work fine. I'm still able to consistently OTK with just 2 of these and not seeing it at all, but it just really makes it's really nice because you summon it, dump a spell, preferably Karma, special Duza, dump another spell or trap, and then you can Xyz into number 60 Durgus for the draw effect, which is really, really nice. For the hand traps, I just play 2 Effect Veiler. Veiler is kind of like my favorite hand trap, just for the fact of it's not once per turn, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It can really shut down a lot of things. A lot of people don't play Effect Veiler, but I think it's kind of an underrated hand trap. But you can play whatever hand traps you want, really. Next up is 3 Cubic Wave. This is a card I would definitely say you have to play 3 of, as well as, Duza and Vijam and Crimson Nova. You definitely play these at 3. Cubic Wave is arguably the best spell in your deck, alongside of Cubic Karma, because with Cubic Wave, you target a cubic monster you control and a monster your opponent controls. You double the attack of your monster and cut the attack of the opponent's monster in half. So it just makes Crimson Nova hitting hard, makes them hit even harder. And then you can also banish it from the graveyard, and along with any number of cubic monsters from the graveyard to put cubic counters on the opponent's monsters, which is really, really nice. Neither of those effects are once per turn. So you can activate 3 Cubic Waves all in one turn. Next up is 3 Cubic Karmas. Again, arguably the best spell in the deck. Not for its on-field effect, which I love that this is a continuous spell, because you can just activate it, activate effect, dump 3 Vijams, boost up your Crimson Nova, attack with it, opponent flips something to pop this, goes to the grave. Cool, your monster still has the boost because it's not an equipped spell, it's continuous. But when it's activated, target huge monster, dump any number of Vijams from your hand or deck to the grave, and your monster will gain 800 attack for each send. And then if a Vijam is summoned from the grave during the opponent's turn, I think that I've had this come once in my entire life playing the deck. You send this card to the graveyard to cut your opponent's life in half. But the best effect this thing has is you can banish it from the graveyard to search any cubic monster, which is just really, really good. And you just always want to dump that in grave, pretty much. Next up is 3 Cubic Dharma. You could play this at 2. I played at 3 just because I like to see it. This is one of the newer cards that came out for the deck. You take no damage involving your cubic monsters. I figure that's most likely for V-Jumps, that you can crash an opponent's monster, main phase 2, summon it back, and get that V-Jump counter and not take any damage. You can only use one. This is the only cubic card, I think, that is a once per turn. You can pitch a cubic card to the graveyard to draw 1 card, and you can banish this card from your graveyard. Yeah. Oh, no, each effect. Yeah, so actually you can use both of its effects in the same turn. I didn't realize that. That's actually good to know. Or you can banish it from the graveyard to add a cubic monster from your grave back to your hand, which is really, really nice, actually. And it does help pull off plays for summoning out Crimson Nova quite often. Next up is 2 Super Polys. It's just good removal because you want a blind going second with this deck, and this lets you fuse things off really well. Or fuse away your opponent's board really well. This is my own kind of little tech that I like to play, the Left Arm Offering. I haven't seen this card played in years. And I forgot this card existed, honestly, until I thought, what's a way I can search Cubic Wave? Because that's what this card is for. You basically play out your entire play, and then once you're just about done, you activate this, banish your entire hand, because you have to have at least 2 or more cards in hand. You banish your entire hand, add any spell card from your deck to your hand, but you can't set spell traps for the turn, so that's important to remember. So that you activate this, banish your remaining hand, get that Cubic Wave, and then just boost up your monster more. Because again, you want to just OTK your opponent and end the duel there. 2 Fool's Barrier of Goods. Dump a spell or trap from deck to grave, just really good for dumping Karma. 1 Monster Reborn for Duza, basically. 1 Call by the Grave, because you're only allowed to play 1. 3 Unification, the Cubic Lord. The card's primary effect is fusion summon 1 cubic fusion monster from your extra deck. Use monsters from your hand or field as material. I think that kind of alludes to there possibly being another cubic fusion, since it doesn't specifically say a certain one, or they're just keeping an open mind to it if they want to make another one, which I think would be really, really cool. But the main effect that you will use from this is if a cubic monster is sent from the field to the graveyard, or destroyed by battle, or leaves the field, banish from the graveyard, special summon a level 4 lower cubic monster from your hand or deck, ignoring the summoning conditions, and if you do, can't destroy by battle card effects, which is really, really nice because that allows you to link climb, and it allows you to do something with link monsters will show. And then last up is Cubic Ascension. This is the card that if my opponent makes me go first, I tend to have really, really good luck drawing this, which is why I play it. You can easily take this out if you want, but I just have insanely good luck with drawing this card. When opponent's monster declares an attack, you can summon a VJOM from your deck, and if you do, you force the opponent's monster to attack the VJOM and then perform damage calculation. And then if your opponent's life points are at least 2,000 higher than yours, you can banish a card from the graveyard, special summon a VJOM from your hand, deck, or grave. And if only your opponent controlled the monster, when you activated the effect, you can summon up to 2 more. So what's nice is you have the set, let your opponent smack you for like 3,000 damage. They attack again, you flip this up. If it doesn't get negated, you summon VJOM to take the hit. You put in the spell, or you just let it take the hits. Or if that was the last monster attacking, you put it in the spell and trap zone. Then you go, banish from the graveyard, summon 2, summon the 3rd, and then there you go. You got 3 monsters in the field just like that. That's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. I play 1 Linkuriboh. I would recommend playing the Relinquished Link. I can't remember what that thing's called, but I think it is better for the fact of Linkuriboh is more or less just a stepping stone. You never really leave it on the field. So if you were to do the Relinquished Link instead, you can also steal an opponent's monster or force out a negate, as well as having your stepping stone. So I just think playing the Relinquished Link would be better, but I don't have that, so I play Linkuriboh for now. Underclock Taker, non-ironically, because you can easily just drop your opponent's monster attack to 0 with this. If it's pointing to a Crimson Nova, especially one that's been boosted, you will always drop their attack to 0. So it's just a nice link too as well. Pentestag, just in case for whatever reason my opponent's got defense, summon Crimson Nova underneath of it, attack 2 things, do a lot of damage. For Link 3, I play a Decode Talker, just a nice Link 3. I also play a Topolomic Bomber, or Trisbania, not Bomber. Bomber's next. Topolomic Trisbania, just because you summon this, and then if you then summon Crimson Nova, because the deck struggles against back row, so that's why this is nice, but also people don't play back row much anymore. But this is really nice because then you summon Crimson Nova at one of its arrows, effect will trigger, banish any monster summoned to its zone, and then you're all spell and traps in the field, but Crimson Nova is unaffected by monster with 3,000 or less attack, which includes your own, meaning this won't be able to banish it, but you will destroy all of your opponent's spells and traps and burn them for some nice damage. Link 4 is a Topolunk Bomber. It has a nice combo where you can just link climb up into it, and then if you summon, what I find to be the best target to summon always is Buster Gun Deal. Just because you summon that, you blow up all your opponent's stuff, and then you just smack them for 3k, pass turn. Because Unification will protect your Buster Gun Deal, and then if your opponent kills Buster Gun Deal, well, you just get back 3 monsters, blow up the field again, or you can summon just 2 and avoid blowing up your field, but Topolunk Bomber is really good. I play a Beauregard for my 4th. To be honest, I don't really have a reasoning. It's just another Link 4 in case I want it. It is kind of nice, because if you go to battle, you kill something your opponent had with Crimson Nova, you can then summon it to your field. It's just there. You can play pretty much any Link 4, really. Replace that. I play the Utopia lineup, number 39 Utopia, Utopia Prime, and Utopia the Lightning. It comes up once in a while, and it's pretty nice, especially if you drop your opponent to 0 with something like Underclock Taker, because then you just get to hit him for 5k damage. So that's pretty nice. I forgot to get this card out, but Durgus, number 60 Durgus, I do have it. It's just in my number binder. But Durgus is a rank 4, just 2 level 4 monsters, detach 2 materials, and activate one of the effects. You can draw 2 cards, discard 1, skip your next draw phase, special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense, but then you skip your next main phase 1, or you can target a monster you control and double its attack, but you skip your next battle phase. You mainly will use it for the draw 2 effect, but I have used the Special Summon from Grave every once in a while. And then play 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. Just because if you're somehow lower than your opponent's life points and you don't want to kill yourself with Crimson Nova effect, you can make this instead to burn them out for the 2000. And then Super Poly targets a Muddy Mud Dragon, or a Mud Dragon of the Swamp. I keep forgetting Muddy Mud Dragons is synchro. And then 1 Starving Fusion Dragon. They're just probably the best 2 fusion targets. There's also the 1 Predaplant that is 3000 attack. I forget what that thing is called, but that is also one. I think that's a really good target as well, but these are also really good. And then I display a Crimson Nova Trinity, the Dark Cubic Lord. I call him the Cubic God because he's above the 3. I just play him for good luck because the extra deck, you don't care too much really what you play. So I play this as my 15th card. You can easily take this out for whatever else you would want to play, but I just play him for good luck. And then for my side deck, this is my personal preference, but again, side deck, you can do whatever you want with it. For my side deck, though, I like to play a Pankratops, because Pankratops is just really nice. For the Time Lords I talked about, I play 2, 2, and 3. I play 2 Medon, or however you pronounce that, which all of them have the same effect where they cannot be special summoned from the deck, but Time Maiden ignores that. If you control a monster, you can normal summon without tribute. Can't destroy battle of card effects, which I just love it when my opponent doesn't read that. That's just so funny every time to me. At the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, return as many monsters in the field as possible to the hand, other than this card. And if you do, burn your opponent for 300 for each card return to the hand. And then they all share the effect of during the standby phase, or during your standby phase, you shuffle the card back into the deck. Which would include your other Time Lords, because you can, with Time Maiden, you can summon 2 Time Lords in one turn, where you tribute it, you search 1, you normal summon, you banish Maiden, special 1 from the deck. And then I play Zephyron. I call this the water one just because it looks like it would be water. Well, it is water, but it is all bubbly, so I call it the water one, ignoring the fact that it's water type. Anyways, at the end of the battle phase, this card battled, you shuffle all spell and traps your opponent controls into the deck, which I just love because if I open nothing else, I'll summon this, attack, get rid of their back row, and then protect myself for another turn. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to draw a card. I think it's the only Time Lord with an additional effect of leaving the field, which it has to go to the grave, actually. And then I play Myken. I have no idea how to say this one's name, but I play Myken. Same effect as the others, except at the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, you cut your opponent's life in half, which I love this because if you put this one, if you put Myken and Meton on the field, you attack with both of them, and then you activate the effects in order of chain 1, chain 2, cut their life in half, return everything, including this, to the hand, burn for the 300, this goes back. If you don't have anything, just normal summon this again, and then just attack, cut their life in half again, and then get another turn of protection, which is why I play him in a 3-of. But when I go to side them in, I'll typically just side in one of each of these, or I'll change it up depending on what my opponents play. If they're playing heavy back row, then I will side in Zephyron instead. I side a 3rd Super Poly, just in case my opponent's playing a lot of darks, so I can just really be sure to fuse it all away. And then, like I said, this deck struggles back row, so there's a little bit of back row hate. Hey Trune, just return all their spells and traps, all set spells and traps. Playing Mind Control, I'll be honest, I don't really remember why this was in here. This may have just been built back in the earlier format, because I haven't been able to play this deck against anyone since COVID started, but... And then again, more back row hate. If the opponent has... Or you can target a face-up spell or trap in the field, destroy it. If the opponent has 2 or more spell and traps in the field, and I don't have any, you can activate this from the hand. So basically, this is played for like the Mystic Mine matchup. So you can just blow it up, because your opponent activates Mystic Mine, they activate whatever the continuous spell is to protect field spells. You chain this to that, because then they will control 2 at that time. And then you can blow up their Mystic Mine, and then they can't activate a new Mystic Mine because of the continuous spell card. So it's just there to out that kind of stuff. Because let's be honest, nobody likes playing against Mystic Mine. It's not fun. It's basically solitaire. But anyways, guys, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider leaving a like, comment, subscribing, do whatever you feel like. And again, hope you guys had a happy new year, and here's the 2021 being a better one. See you guys next time.